Banana bro, and really quickly I want to say I am calling myself the banana bro right now because I'm presenting an idea to Kimball Musk, if you don't know, Elon Musk's brother. So I'm presenting this idea to grow banana trees in cities to Kimball Musk, and I really want to work with him. Honestly, I'm going to be frank, I want to partner with him, and I think that he could get me to Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and then Warren Buffett. It's basically, it's to build GhostWin.bio, right? It's to create this company that's not only going to create clean water, clean food, clean electricity, it's also going to do something much less physical, more psychological, and help humanity fix all of our major problems. And that's why I'm going after those people, because it's such a big idea that I need the help of the greats right now to implement this idea. And I know that's going to take time. So I'm starting with this, right? I'm actually taking action. Now, I want to say thank you to Richard for giving me the opportunity to help launch his books. This is a gift that I've been saying if you've been watching the previous videos. And so, yeah, I guess you're welcome for finally doing this. It's been a while, I know. Sorry, I've been caught up with schoolwork and trying to design this new hydroponic system. I'm super excited to help kids learn how to 3D print while learning how to grow their own fresh food vertically in cities or just in any common building, right? It's something that it's something that kids can really get engaged with, and it's a really cool system. I've already 3D printed the first piece, so I'm rocking and rolling. We'll see how it sprouts. Check out the link below to get Richard Bray's book on Amazon. And yeah, here we go. Let's jump right into it.
One essential step for successful hydroponic gardening is microclimate control. Managing the climate of your plants is not easy to do if your hydroponic system is outside and exposed. For indoor systems though, it is a good idea to keep control of the climate. The advantage is that you can set the air temperature and humidity. You can also keep out pests, especially in systems where plant roots are exposed, as in the NFT system. Not everyone has the room or budget for an expensive greenhouse setup and all the electrical equipment needed to control the climate. Here's what you should aim for, as best you can. Air temperature. Aim for a range of 65-80 degrees during the day and 55-70 degrees at night. To check your air temperature, invest in a thermometer. You can get a combined thermometer hygrometer that will read humidity as well as temperature. Situate it near to the plants and undergrow lights if you use them. You also need to avoid air stagnation if you grow in a greenhouse. For a little air movement, set up some fans a bit away from the plants for a few hours. If the temperature gets too high, move the fans closer to the plants so they can benefit from the cool air. Small fans set on low are fine. You don't need to create a tornado force in there. Relative humidity, RH. Aim for a range of around 50-60 degrees. Much higher and your plants will struggle to breathe. Plus you may get algae and fungus mold. A good balance is important because too much or too little humidity will hinder pollination. If you have trouble raising the humidity in your hydroponic area, try using a room humidifier or vaporizer. It doesn't need to be expensive, a general household one will suffice. If humidity is too high, which can happen in a basement setup, the use of a dehumidifier will bring it down. One microclimate control. Lighting. The sun is the best source of light for your crops. If you can't use this free supply, then you'll want to provide around 15 hours of light some other way. This is where artificial lights come in handy. For a beginner growing lettuces and herbs, consider a fluorescent T5. A 4-foot tube will cover a couple of square feet. These can hang around 8 inches above the growing trays. If you want heat from your lighting, consider HID, high intensity discharge, lamps, which are great for fruit, flowers, and vegetables. They can be expensive to buy and run, but the bulbs last for years. For a beginner with a smaller setup, 175 watts will be adequate. It needs to hang around 12 inches away from the foliage. Remember not to place the headlights too close to the crops because the bulbs burn quite hot. There are two different types of bulbs, MH, metal halide, and HPS, high pressure sodium. The MH is a good all-around light for any beginner. The HPS does well with fruiting and flowering stages 1 microclimate control. Water temperature is crucial for healthy roots. The right balance of minerals is also important. Hard water is not good for hydroponic growers. If you have hard water in your area, you may want to invest in a filter. For a few $100s, you could have an RO, reverse osmosis, water filter fitted to your water system. This is not only good for your plants, it will also improve your family's health. Alternately, you could collect rainwater for use in your hydroponic garden. Whatever type of water you use, be careful not to shock the plants with quick changes in temperature. Ideally, the water temperature should be between 65–80 degrees. There are many inexpensive ways to regulate water temperature. If your water is too warm, add bottles of frozen water or frozen ice packs to the reservoir. Use small fans to keep the air cooled around the system. Move the grow lights further away from the plants. Paint the reservoir container a reflective color, such as white. Keep the system in the shade whenever possible. Fit a water chiller to life-giving water. If your water is too cold, wrap a thick padding around the water container to keep the cold out and the heat and immerse clean bottles containing hot water in the reservoir, removing them when they cool. They must be very clean to avoid contaminating your nutrient solution. Use an immersible heater, such as those used in aquariums. Make sure to check all the electrical wattage volumes for the type of breaker you have. You don't want to be tripping the electrical system, particularly if you have lots of pumps. Containers for reservoir. Plastic boxes may seem strong, but once filled with water they can warp under the heat and weight. They can also exude chemicals into the water. If you are not buying a kit, or you have a low budget, then make sure to choose a solid container for your reservoir. Large containers made of food-grade material are ideal, such as double-layer picnic coolers. When changing and cleaning out the water system, you need a container you can handle and move around. Full water replacement is necessary for many reasons, such as stage changes, from flowering to fruiting, or flowering to vegetative growth. Mineral buildup, which happens over time and causes an imbalance in the pH levels. The containers need cleaning with fresh water and the nutrients need refreshing. Changing the reservoir water should be a life-giving water weekly job. If there has been a mineral buildup, then clean out all the other parts of the system too, such as tubes, air stones, filters, and pumps. Hydrogen peroxide for full cleaning is popular. Blockages by overgrown roots, changing of the crops after harvesting, debris entering the water reservoir. It's best to keep a lid on the reservoir to avoid debris as much as possible to life-giving water. One factor that is essential for all plant growth, not just hydroponics, is nutrients. What exactly are these? Essentially, they are minerals, life-giving food for your plants. Plants can grow without soil, but they cannot grow without minerals. All plants, whether hydroponics or soil-based, rely on 16 nutrients to help them thrive. 3 of the nutritional elements are absorbed through contact with water and air. The remaining 13 are mineral nutrients. The grower must add these to the reservoir. As your plants grow, their nutritional demands will increase. As with any life form, the bigger they get, the more food they need. The manufacturer's instructions should state how much nutritional solution is needed to feed your growing plants. This requires a balancing act because your plants also need the right oxygen levels. Too much food in the water will cause them to become starved of oxygen and thirsty. The nutritional solution will need finituning at different growing stages to keep the oxygen and nutritional levels well balanced as the plants mature. You will need to take certain measurements. The first measurement is to check the electroconductivity, EC, which is also known as conductivity factor, CF, level. They have the same meaning, the measurement of salinity, dissolved salts, but the most popular term is EC. Only pure water, without any mineral content, would have an EC of 0. The average EC reading from your tap water will be soft water EC 0.2, hard water EC 0.8. When it comes to taking an EC reading, The water temperature can affect the levels of salt. To counteract this effect, it is best to check it at roughly the same time each day. 3. Feeding the plant. When you first put your new plants into the hydroponic system, it will take around a week for things to settle down. Try to take a reading at the same time each day and you will soon notice it has regularized. You now have your average levels. If the EC level drops below average levels, it means the crops are hungry and you need to add more nutrients. This is normal and should happen as they grow. If the EC level rises, it could mean that your crops are not getting enough water. This means it's time to decrease the nutritional levels in the reservoir water. It doesn't stop there. There is another reading that will help you with this balancing act. Few growers are aware of it, but it is quite crucial to keep your plants healthy. It is known as dissolved oxygen. Dew levels. It is equally as important as the EC in the pH measurements, if you want optimum results from your harvest. Plants in soil have plenty of access to oxygen. In a hydroponic garden, they need a human intervention. Plants have the same life-supporting needs as any other life form. You, as their caretakers, need to ensure the plants not only eat and drink well but also that they can breathe. Your plant roots absorb oxygen from the water. The oxygen level is affected by the pH and EC levels and by water temperature. Warmer water carries less oxygen, as does water with lots of dissolved minerals. For example, fresh water has a higher oxygen level than seawater because seawater has a higher concentration of minerals. Most hydroponic systems need a high concentration of oxygen. This is known as supersaturated dew levels. Beginners growing herbs and lettuces will be safe with lower levels. Once you progress to more complex systems, and plants with larger root systems, you will need check the dew regularly. Tap water averages 5-7 ppm. But for a large hydroponic garden, you will need around 50 ppm. Smaller systems need less dew. 3. Feeding the plant. Hydroponic systems yield larger crops more quickly because the roots feed better than they do in soil. Roots have direct contact with the nutrients in the water. None of it will soak into the earth as it would with soil. However, this also creates problems unique to hydroponic systems. While hydroponic growing has fewer soil pests, it can still suffer from water bacteria, fungus, or algae from overwatering. The roots are the most important part of the plant and require a great deal of care. In hydroponics, the plant roots do not need to expand outwards as they would in the soil. In soil, it is necessary for plants to search out the nutrients they need. Whether in soil or water, plants still need water, oxygen, and nutrients. In a hydroponic garden, the roots don't need to work so hard. All their needs are met. The plant can conserve its energy and concentrate on growing. Growth. Root growth is a continuous process. It is necessary for the health of the plant, as younger roots absorb more nutrients. In a hydroponic system, root growth is quicker. Because of the limited space, roots can become denser and more compact. You must try not to let them bind together as they fight for space because this can cause blockages. Many hydroponic gardeners prefer to put each plant in its own pot or hanging basket to avoid this. The only downside to separating them is that it encourages them to grow even more quickly, which may result in competition for space. The ideal method is a matter of personal preference and what you intend to grow for the role of the root's oxygen. As with any life, a plant needs oxygen, which it gains through the roots. The more oxygen a plant can get, the healthier the root system will be. Roots can suffocate without enough oxygen supply. In hydroponics, they rely on the oxygen levels in the water and the efficiency of growing medium. Lack of oxygen will cause cells in the roots to die and encourage diseases such as pythium. This is why measuring the oxygen in your hydroponic water supply is so vital. Temperature. It is the temperature around the roots and not the air around the plant that is important. If the root zone temperature is over 85 degrees for more than 30 minutes, plant growth will slow. In contrast, chilling the roots, such as with lettuce, stops the leaves from wilting in the heat. This is because there is more oxygen content in cooler water. These are a few tips on the important role of roots, the heart of any plant. For the role of the roots in a hydroponic system. A seed begins its life in rock wool or stone grow cubes or plugs. The medium should be pre-soaked in nutritional water that is around 5.5 pH. For a few minutes allow excess water to drain from the medium when you place the seeds in the growing medium. The material should only be lightly wet. It should not be dripping or waterlogged. Plant 2-3 seeds in each grow cube. That way, if one fails to sprout, you will have others to fall back on. If more than one sprouts, then choose the strongest and remove the others. There is no need to cover any holes you have made planting the seeds. Place the cubes in a tray with a small amount of feeding solution at half strength. It is also better to cover the tray with a transparent lid ideally. The tray should have some form of heat, such as from a heating mat. Maintain the temperature at around 70-80 F. Top up the tray of nutrients water every day. Add water to the tray and not directly to the seeds. Don't have too much water in the tray. Keep the tray where there is plenty of light available. Light is essential when seedlings are growing. If you can, use a grow light when natural light is limited. 5. Planting the seeds of life. Remember that rock wool plays an important part in keeping the seedling moist. It is excellent at holding nutritional water and oxygen as the seeds sprout. Gradually remove the lid a little more each day. This way, the seedlings will adjust slowly to the outer air. There are a couple of signs to look out for to know when it is time to transfer the seedlings to the hydroponic system. If you see roots sprouting out of the growing cube or a second set of leaves developing on the seedling, or both, then it is time to transfer it to the system. Only then can you begin to feed full-strength nutrients. Make sure everything is sterilized before transferring the seedlings to their new home. There's no need to take the seedlings from the cubes. You can transfer them to the hydroponic garden in the cubes if you are using media. Don't water the cubes for a couple of days after transferring them. Make sure they have received enough nutrient solution prior to the transfer. This is only a brief guide for raising seeds. I hope it gives you the confidence to try it for yourself. When you get started, you find that it is actually easier than planting in soil.
That is so true. And definitely, again, thank you, Richard Bray, for letting me do this. I really enjoyed listening to your books and producing this. Again, make sure to get this book on Amazon. Support Richard Bray, and I'll leave the link in the description for you, as well as please feel free to join the G3 community. We are always open to new members. I think we have like 175 so far, and it's only growing by the day. So I'm excited to see where it takes off, and thank you for listening. Have a good one, Unifiers. Peace.